On today's video, I'll be teaching you all about OnX, the beginner's guide. So if you've never used OnX before but are interested in learning about it, this is the perfect video for you. You don't want to miss this one. Stay tuned. OnX Hunting Maps is an app you can use on your phone, tablet, and computer. It's essentially an online plat book that you can use to narrow down your search for areas to hunt. There's a 1-month free trial to see if you like it, and after a month you can decide if you want to use the maps in your state only or pay more to access the maps in all 50 states. For me, I pay for my home state, which is Wisconsin. There's many options as far as what you can use the maps for. For example, if you want to use off-roading maps, you can do that. If you would like to use hiking maps, cross-country skiing maps, you can do that as well. But here on this video, we're going to focus on hunting maps, so let's get to it. For demonstration purposes of this video, I'm simply using an area in Wisconsin I've never been to. As you can see, it says Iron County right here. I've never hunted there, I have no plans to, so I'm just going to use this area that you can see here to demonstrate the mapping tools, layers, and how to identify private land, public land, state land, and all of those things that go along with using the map. Alright, now let's talk about layers. There are 3 layers that are extremely important when it comes to hunting. This is going to tell you where you can hunt and where you cannot hunt legally. The first layer you need to put on is private lands. You can see here it's outlined in orange, and then if you zoom in, you will find that there's actually names of people that own the property. Public land, this is this highlighter yellow color. At least for county land, state land has a different color, but you can figure that out once you click on it. And then forest crop lands. You can see it pop up over here with these red dots. Forest crop is private land that has been allowed for hunting for tax benefits. So you can hunt in forest crop and you can hunt in public land. This tells you anywhere in this area, including here, you are allowed to hunt. But you are not allowed to hunt up here. That is a private land parcel with somebody's name on it. So if I zoom in here a little bit more, you can see that it has names of people. And then out here, of course, it doesn't because this is all public land with that color. That's basically it. Those are the 3 layers you need to have. Where you can hunt and where you can't hunt legally. And that's going to narrow down a lot of areas. When you want this to go away over here, you click the X. If you want to bring it back up, you simply tap it again and check out all the different layers that it has to offer you. There's hunting ones, trails and recreation, and also water. One of the reasons why OnX is so special to me, and the reason why I count on it and use it and it helps me become a better hunter, is because of the Waypoint tool. If you use the Waypoint tool and you organize everything, you will be amazed at how much that's going to help you to be a better hunter. Check this out. If you want to add a waypoint, you click Add Waypoint. You can move your waypoint wherever you'd like it to go. This includes on your phone, tablet, or computer. First thing you want to do is name your waypoint. I'm going to say that that's a parking spot. I like to find my parking spots first. I'm going to put parking and call it good. Below that, you can choose an icon. They have icons for everything. A trail, where you found a scrape, where you put your boat in the water, a bedding area. That's very important. Now, like I said before, I'm just making all this up for demonstration purposes, but this is a very possible parking area. Now, you have an icon there, but instead of having red icons all over your OnX maps, a really cool thing is changing the color. Now, this seems like an elementary thing that you're coloring all your waypoints and making your map look all nice and everything, but the reason why the color matters is because if you're looking for parking or avoiding parking areas where other people might be hunting, you avoid certain colors just by looking at your phone when you open it. And in this case, all of my parking icons are light blue. Every single one on the map, because I know not only where I can park, but also where I can avoid other people from having easy access into hunting areas. So once I've done that, I click the light blue color. If I want to put notes on here, like head east after parking, it tells me, oh, that I should go east simply because it's not good to the west or whatever. You can do that. And then that's really just about it. You save it and it's always going to be there, even on your tablet or phone, any device that you're not currently using to set this up with your waypoints. Let's say I add another one. I use this for scouting all the time and I found a really good buck sign over there. So what I would do is I'm going to put the scrape symbol. Let's say I found that. I'm just going to put scrape and then the year. That way I know if it's there again next year in 2021. The historical scrape that gets reopened every year, that's a really good sign. For deer, I use brown. The reason why I use brown for deer is because for waterfowl I use red. For camping stuff I use black. For places I want to explore yet, I use white. For all my fishing stuff, I use blue. You kind of get the idea. So I have this figured out where I can find things very quickly just by identifying the color, and then it tells me what species I'm going to be targeting in that area and what I've been doing there in a scouting trip, hunting trip, or fishing trip. Now, I saw a scrape there, and then I'm going to put save. You can also add a picture as well. Let's say I move over here. I'm going to add a waypoint there. So I saw let's just pretend I saw a really nice buck trail. I'm going to say buck trail heading east and west. That's literally what I'll do. If I need to do any more notes down the bottom, I'll add that here. If there's a really cool photo that gives me a little bit more information, I'll take a couple photos and put it there. That's just really about it. And then I'm saying, okay, this is a really good spot. I need to set up on this, and I'm going to find a place to put a tree stand or a saddle in the tree. So I'm going to add another waypoint right here. Whatever I found when I'm on the ground, maybe I need to be back over here. And like I said, I'm making this up. I have no idea what I would really do in this situation, but I would put tree stand. That can mean many things. That can mean a spot where you sit and hunt. That can mean you go up in a tree. That can mean you go on a saddle. I don't know, a climber, ladder stand, whatever. And I'm going to go here and go down to where it says tree stand. They're all in alphabetical order. It's super easy to find. And then go there. Remember, this is for deer hunting, so it's brown. And that's really about it. This is how you set waypoints, and it's very, very important. I put this on boat access points. I put this for everything. But let's say I hunt a parcel with somebody else. I say, hey, I didn't see a buck, but if you're hunting there this weekend, good luck. It's a good buddy of yours. You can send them the waypoint. They can punch into their phone, and they can get exactly to the point where you saw some good buck sign. That's how this makes you a really good hunter. It keeps you organized. It keeps you focused. It reminds you of places that you've been that you don't remember years ago. You wrote down on a piece of paper. You used your memory. That's really just about it. Maybe you took a photo and got it printed off. I don't know, but right now, this is the ticket. This is what's going to make you a better hunter. Organizing and outlining places where you see deer sign. I put everything on here. Scat, tracks, trails, scrapes, rubs, other tree stands, you name it. It goes on here. It helps me really stay organized with where I'm supposed to hunt, how I'm supposed to set up the day, the wind direction, and everything. And that's ultimately why it's made me a better hunter. Now let's use the line distance tool. That's located up at the top, and it's fairly simple to find just right here. You can name your line, and in this case, for demonstration, I can say trail to stand. Then I'm going to make it brown, and for me, I like to use a dotted line. That means walking. And then you can go over here where you can see a little bit more. Wherever you do your first click, in this case by the parking area, that's where your line is going to begin. So I'll click there, and any hunter is going to know that you're probably not going to go straight towards your stand. It's just not what happens in the woods, especially in thick cover. So maybe you have to go like this. Every time you click, you're allowed to change directions on your line distance tool. When you get to your destination from point A over to point B, you can then double click, and your line distance tool is pretty much complete. Go down here to the bottom and click Save. Now you have a line distance tool that not only tells you how to get from point A, which is parking, to B, which is your stand, but also it shows you where to go and the turns and bends that you may need to take for easier access walking into your stand. This is very helpful for going in the morning in the dark, and it's also very helpful for getting out at night if you don't want to just beeline it straight back to the parking area. The other really useful way to use the line distance tool is simply to know the distance between point A and point B. In this first example, we talked about using contour, maybe going around something, figuring out a really practical way to get into your tree stand, but you can also use it just from point A to point B, and I will use red for this. So if you want to know the distance from your stand to a scrape, to a rub, bedding area, to a trail, anything like that, you click where your stand is, and you just make a straight line toward the waypoint that you made earlier. Or maybe you saw something over here, but you forgot to mark it. You know that this is a bedding area. You can simply do the same thing from your stand. Click here, go out, and you don't even need to save this. You can just use this quickly. 115.2 yards, it says. That gives you an estimate of how close you are to a certain area. Once you're done doing that, if you do want to save it, you double click, hit save, and then if you want to access that again, you click on it, and it gives you information over here. Total length, 115.1 yards, and then you can also edit it or delete it if you don't want it there in the future. Now let's talk about the area shape tool. You'll find the area shape tool up here next to your line distance and waypoint tool. All you have to do is click on it, and right now let's not worry about naming it. Let's just pretend that all of this is bedding over here. You did some scouting, you walked around, you saw that it was bedding. I'm going to put this at brown, and I'm going to make sure my area color stays the same because I want my line color to determine what the area represents. And in this case, the brown line means it's deer. And so we're going to put this on here by clicking just to start the area shape. And what you're basically doing is you're making a shape time. It's going to appear as a line, then eventually the more clicks and the more you broaden it out and open it up, it's going to become more of a shape. So you can follow the contour. Let's just pretend this is all bedding. This area here, you walked around, you kind of figured out where the primary bedding was up here, and then you double click for your last one, and the shape ends up being deer bedding. It represents deer bedding, so you know when you go back in there not to get too close, or if you want to hunt inside of it or whatever you want to do, you can do that. Then you go over here and name it primary bedding area. And that's all you really need to do. You can go down here if you need to make notes, or if you want to do something else, edit this a little bit, change the thickness of the line, maybe you want it to be a little bit thicker, then you can go down here to save. Now every time you click on this, you're going to go here, it's going to say primary bedding, it's going to tell you the total acreage and the total length around the bedding. That's very helpful to know. Now at the same time, you can use the area shape to determine where you should not go. Let's pretend that for some reason I thought that this was a really good hunting area, so I'm going to again click on the area shape. I'm going to leave this one red because that tells me don't go in there, it's not good. Even though it looks good on an aerial map, it does not look good once you get the boots on the ground, period. You might see other people hunting there, but you have to trust your hands-on experience when you're scouting. So let's pretend this is an area I want to go to, and I did go there and said, that spot's terrible. There's no deer living there. They don't even have tracks or scat, beds, scrapes, rubs, nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline this area, go around here, make a shape, whatever the shape happens to be as you kind of go around there when your boots are on the ground. This is much more helpful when you do it in person. Then you're going to leave it like that, double click to stop using the area shape tool. And then this is what I actually do while I make these areas. I say, do not hunt. That's what I put on there. So it's very clear to me. Don't waste your time. Don't walk in there. Don't set up in there. Move on from that area. And then you go down to save. Now I know not to go there because it's outlined in red. And when I click on it, a clear message says to me, do not hunt. So in the future, because I go to so many different places, it's hard to remember every single place I went to and all my different experiences and things I've seen and did not see. Just to click on it, it's good to know that you should not hunt there. In reality, I usually eliminate bigger sections. So for example, if I'm scouting this whole area, I would do an area shape more like this. I would start here, it would be much bigger rather than a small little area like that. Chances are there's a big area where you hunt, where you just don't see a lot of sign, you'll randomly see one or two tracks here and there. Not a good idea to set up in there. It definitely is helpful to eliminate areas as well as keying in on areas such as bedding over here. Another great feature of OnX Hunting Maps is that you can click on the topo map over here and it tells you where there are different elevation changes. You can click on hybrid map and that tells you where there's elevation changes, and it gives you the actual satellite imagery and then just satellite imagery down here. And they all have their time and place. For me, I use the hybrid the most because I like to see the elevation changes as well as what the property actually looks like. In many cases, when I'm looking to set up for hunting and I'm looking for difficult access points like a small creek to cross or a river or a swamp or whatever, I use the topo for that. I use this to identify where there's water. You can see up here there's swamp and a creek over here. And if you clicked on the hybrid, it's not as easy to identify. You can tell that there's some wetland right here. But sometimes on here I found that where you are not expecting wetland to actually be, you click the topo and it'll tell you where the ground is low there, and you can expect it to be difficult for people to access and get through. And we all know that deer love water, so it's another reason to try setting up for a hunt in that location.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really appreciate you checking out this video. I hope it was helpful for you. If you don't have OnX, it's something you should consider. It's made me a better hunter and it can help you out too. Every Friday, 4 p.m. Look for next Friday's video. Until then, take care. Bye.